Good evening, Energized Coach coming to you again, talking about the grounding and earthing. Like I stated before, I've said many times that I tend to get information and I still sometimes wonder why I get certain information. And I decided to turn on YouTube and decided to watch some videos on my way home and while just basically on my way home. And as I'm watching, I'm listening to some information. Now, I have been talking about a lot of things regarding me and things that regarding, when I say me, I'm talking about things regarding, for example, for many years since my father used to take my brother and I to the barbershop and get our haircuts, and then of course growing up and understanding, the need to groom ourselves to make sure that we cut our hair and things of that nature. And I did a video about 4 months ago regarding my hair, saying I won't cut my hair anymore because they're my antennas. And as I get these tingling feelings in my scalp, I'm thinking, okay, is that the energy coming in from my hair, or is the energy going out from me? Either way, every time I get this tingling sensation, I get some things that come to me intuitively. So as I'm watching these videos and I'm coming home and I'm thinking, okay, 2020, they're going to have increased amount of this wave, this microwave, these EMF waves going through the atmosphere because of 5G. I've gotten this information in regards to shungite and what shungite can do to protect you from these energies from 5G. I've gotten in things that you can do to be able to protect yourself from from EMF waves and these microwaves. And recently, I just received information regarding grounding. Now, I also did a video where I talked about how you can have information like the USB drive downloaded to your DNA, just like they do on that USB drive. And they can also extract that information and be exactly the same way as that USB drive. And so with all this information and all of this stuff that's around us with these Wi-Fi, and it's called electric smog and all these other things, I walked around and I had a electric tester, and the information on it, and as I turned it on, the numbers are jumping all over the place, which is a clear indicator that there are electric frequencies that are just passing through the air. And of course we can't see them, but if we're exposed to enough of it, we can become sick from this frequency. And so as I was driving, and I hear a lot of information how they were relating the grounding to these information, it showed me or helped me understand that now it makes sense. Our bodies are pretty much full of electricity, and it is energy flowing in and out of us, and the amount of energy that's close to us, we absorb it, and a lot of times we really don't have a true way of dispensing it out of us. But the longer it stays in us, because now the electric currents are too much, it causes issues and detriment to our bodies. So then what do we need to do? I remember years ago, I was adding a card reader, the little SanDisk cards that you put in, that you take out of your phones and out of your cameras. And I was asking the gentleman, so how do I need to put, what do I need to do to put this in? I know how to add it into the computer. He said, well, you need to make sure that you hold the side or the housing of the computer so that you can ground yourself out, so you don't destroy the integrated circuits that are inside the computer. Never thought about it until now it makes sense. Because we have so much information in us. I mean, how many of us, when we were kids, we take the balloon and we rub it on our head, we can stick it to the wall because of static electricity. Because we have it all around us, we have it in us, that there has to be some sort of management system to do so. And now the discovery is let's manage this electricity by taking ourselves and ground ourselves. Even with electricity that you have in your house, there's a circuit that's used, there's a wire, it's typically green, it goes and grounds so that the electricity will not surge or cause any problems. I've seen houses, they used to have they have the lightning rods that are on top of the houses. Those are run down to the ground so that your house don't catch on fire from lightning. And so it makes sense that if we can now extract some of this energy and not have our bodies become optimal to be able to manage itself and be able to use the energies efficiently inside of it and be able to dispense it properly, then we will be able to maybe resist some of these problems that we'll get from the Wi-Fi that's going through you right now, the smart meter that's outside of your house, and the 5G waves that are that's coming to cause us damage. So what I'm doing here, this is an introduction to a video that I have that's following this. Her name is Dr. Laura Conover. She's a physician who has information about this grounding and how much grounding that you can use, from a small amount to big amount, or what you can use to be able to get the benefits from this grounding. Because with the illnesses that are coming with the prospect of this 5G, you're going to need to find a way to be able to get your body operating optimally, so that you don't suffer the huge impacts that you're going to get. So you're going to ground, you're going to get some shungite to be able to protect you from these EMF waves, and do whatever is necessary, because you want to enjoy the prospect of 5G, even though it's going to be microwaving you. But if it's something that you can do to keep yourself from suffering the ills of what 5G is going to do, maybe this is one of them that you can use, so that your body, and of course sharing it with your family and your friends and those that you care about, that will help you be able to get the benefits that you need from doing this, so that you will live a happy and prosperous life. So without further ado, here's the video. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Laura Conover, MD, the intuition physician, and today I want to answer your question, one of the most frequently asked questions I get, which is, how much earthing do I have to do each day to make a difference? My answer is always, anything makes a difference. There is no amount of earthing that is too quick or too small to make a noticeable impact on you and your body's physiology. So never, ever, ever think, I'm not going to bother slipping off my shoe for a minute or touching this tree for a second because it's not long enough. That's not true. It's long enough. Instantaneous is long enough. Of course, the benefits continue to extend the longer you do it. And I want to go over the scientific literature to tell you exactly what you're doing when you're just connecting for a second, and exactly what you're doing when you're connecting for years and years and years, okay? So let's just go over that right now. So your muscle tension immediately drops and is measurable on an electromyogram. So that is a measurable, noticeable, instantaneous change, as well as your ambient voltage of your entire body shifts, your EEG brain waves change, and your skin conductance. So that's instantaneous. So muscle, skin, brain, and also levels of pain are instantly shifted. Sustaining it for a few minutes in medical studies has shown to have an impact on your organ function and on your vasculature. So blood viscosity changes. So we're talking about this, now we're moving into studies that have gone on for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, in the range of several minutes. So just within minutes, you've really affected your circulatory system and all of the end organs that are targeted by your circulatory system, because now you've increased circulation, you've increased blood viscosity, you've increased your respiratory rate, so you've increased oxygenation, and now you've stabilized your blood glucose. So you have an immediate change in the metabolic function of your entire body. Now let's look at studies that have gone into hours. So one night is all it takes to change your indicators of osteoporosis. It affects your bones at this point, all right? Deep into your bones. You are affecting and changing your metabolic panel. So all of your electrolytes and your minerals, your calcium, your phosphorus, your potassium, your magnesium, even your iron levels change after just 1 8-hour session. So sleeping grounded for one night changes your osteoporosis indicators, which show that bone metabolism and growth is actually affected. The other thing that it affects now with just one night is thyroid function. So now you're talking about something, not just physiological immediate changes, and not just talking about, supporting the organs inside your body, but now we're talking about how they interrelate with each other. We're talking about the structural support with your bones, and we're talking about the hormonal support with your thyroid. All right, your cortisol levels can be affected by just one night of sleeping grounded. Your thyroid function panel changes and shifts dramatically so that thyroid function is actually boosted just in one night. Now we're moving into studies that talk about several days. If you earth and are connected to the earth for several days straight, you actually are more resilient and more adaptable to life's stress and to demands on the physical body. There's one study in particular I'm thinking of where men were given a heavy load to lift, a very, very stressful amount of weight. And then they were grounded just one time, and then they were grounded for 1, 2, and 3 days afterwards. And the grounded participants were not only able to meet that one challenge with less inflammation in their body and less stress on their body, but they were able to recover easier, meaning their body had less inflammatory markers afterwards, they recovered quicker, and they had less pain and less physiological damage after the stress. So now we're talking about over a course of days, earthing making you more resilient, more adaptable, and more able to recover from stress. So now we're talking about not just the physiological change, the organ change, the metabolic change, the function as a whole, but now we're talking about our ability to navigate life more effectively. So we're talking about stress recovery. We're talking about increasing adaptability when we're talking about earthing now for several days. We're decreasing inflammation markers, we're decreasing cortisol and stress on the body, we're decreasing pain, and we're increasing our recovery. And so now we're at years out. All these other studies have, from instantaneous changes to changes over days, weeks, and months shown the support to the human body. But now we're looking at studies over years. What do I anticipate over years? Over years, I anticipate anti-aging benefits and anti-cancer benefits, because it turns out most of the diseases that we are confronted with as a society are from chronic inflammation. Lots of cancers, lots of chronic diseases that we used to think was just a result of old aging is actually just either repetitive injury or repetitive inflammation and stress, right? So, arthritic changes, dementia changes, stroke, heart attack, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and cancers that were thought to just increase with age are actually really just increasing with inflammation. And so when we increase inflammation, either through poor diet or stress on the body, EMFs and that kind of thing, then we're accelerating all of those conditions. And when we decrease inflammation on the body and stress on the body, then we are relieving, I anticipate finding, relieving the incidence of these kinds of illnesses. What we understand now is that there's instantaneous change. What we understand now is that there is immediate effect and immediate benefit to you when you ground for a split second. So what we're at now is there is no time that's too short. So get out there and touch one leaf for 1 minute, or walk barefoot just to get your mail, or just to go pick up the kids from the school bus stop, or just to stand out there on your way up to bed for a minute barefoot and look up at the stars and see what the moon looks like tonight. That's like a tradition. Just go see what the moon looks like and then go to bed. That 1 second has made a difference in your physiology and in your body and in your health and in your well-being. And what we're going to grow into over time, and as we have longer and longer studies, generational studies, is that there's no amount of time being connected to the earth that's too long, right? So right now we know there's no time too short. And I believe an entire lifetime is not too long to live connected to the earth and in our best, most optimized state of well-being. And that is the medical literature that I will continue to keep you updated on. If you don't know how to get started, but you want to, download my free Earthing Idea book. If you just put your name, your email and your name into my sidebar on my website, then you'll instantly be emailed a downloadable ebook filled with ideas. I like to say on that ebook, give me 10 minutes a day for 10 days and it will change your body and your health, and you can feel better than you feel right now. But really what I could say is give me 10 seconds for 10 days, or give me 1 second for 1 day, because it will make a change in your body. And that's what this video was about. So I hope it helped. I hope you read my Earthing Idea book, and I hope you stay tuned for future blog posts, because I'll keep you posted on the medical literature as it becomes available on the modality of earthing. Thank you very much.